We used to think travel meant going somewhere, going to new places, new views, new experiences. But lately, we've been building a home that feels like a destination, having often take for granted the beauty that is all around us. And I have been really trying to focus on the intentionality of where we live and where we want to spend time. We want to focus on less stuff, less noise, and less rushing from one thing to the next. That way we can have more space to breathe, more slow mornings, more we don't have to leave to feel good today. Okay, we're back. We are back. And I have my notebook with me today because this is a topic that I am really passionate about and I want to make sure I hit all of my main points. So, the first point I want to make when talking about how to self regulate with our children when we're at home or when we're exploring our own city so that we can then be able to self regulate when we travel. Because, like I mentioned, what we take with us when we travel is like tenfold what happens when we're at home. And that can really deter people. It can be really, really hard to want to go travel when we know that it can be challenging. And there's all, I'm sure you've seen the funny reels that was like, my child's going to tantrum at home or my child's going to tantrum here. Might as well do it with a view. And that's wholeheartedly how I feel. But I wanted to make sure that we are equipped to do these things so that it doesn't get in the way. When we talk about anxiety, any sort of barrier that's going to keep us from doing the thing we want to do is something we want to remove so that we have more likelihood for it to happen. So, a big way that we like to practice these skills so that we are able to travel more successfully to explore our own city, right? Getting out and about, getting them comfortable with being in a space that feels new to them. So, even if it's your own city, like exposing them to things, trying new food, sensory stuff is a really big one. So, putting your feet in sand. My daughter hates getting dirty. She's always like, dirty, dirty. And so I'm like, well, we're at the beach. Like, we can't leave and change you out of all of these clothes. Like, this is where we are. Whereas at home, she'll just strip down and put on some new clothes. When we are in public, we have to sit in that discomfort, right? So, being able to tolerate things that are hard, sitting at a restaurant, but being able to tolerate overstimulation because when you're traveling, you're going to get overstimulated. It's really, really hard on the kids. It can be really hard. So, knowing about loud noises, knowing about crossing the street, and what to do, like practicing these things in your own home. One, the benefit is you get to explore your own home, right? And then two, they get to have exposure to it. So we always talk about these grand plans and these grand travels and all these things that we want to be able to do, but you can do a lot of these things in your own home, at your own city, in your own space. So, one is getting comfortable trying new things in a more calculated or safe space for you because there is some familiarity with it being in your home, in your own language, if you're not, traveling abroad. All of these things can be really, really great ways to practice so that your children are more equipped to then go travel. Okay, the second is a big one. The second is knowing how to parent when traveling, right? So first we need to know how to parent when we're home. That's going to look different for everyone. I'm not sitting here telling you how to parent. I do have a lot of thoughts on that as a therapist who provides therapy for families and young children. So if you're interested in that, let me know. But more so, it's going to be about you knowing what your own parenting style is and what to do about that when you are also stressed. So if we are stressed and we're trying to parent and our children are potentially stressed because travel days are stressful, speaking primarily to travel days, how do we downregulate so that we are able to be more patient, able to be more calm and regulated for our children so that they, which is very normal, can be dysregulated, right? The goal is to help them downregulate or regulate their system, but they're going to be very dysregulated. And so, what do we need to do to help them feel better? That can look like exponential amounts of patience, having patience with our little ones, getting down to their eye level, right? Sitting next to them in a chair, you see often like kids are sitting in a chair in the airport and the parents like down in front of their face, like, hey, bud, what's going on? What do you need? Understanding that they're going to have bigger tantrums. They're tired, they're hungry, snacks suck at the airport. Like, for some reason, we're more hungry on an airplane than we've ever been in our life. So being able to get down at their level and be like, what do you need? Like, what's going on? What are you feeling? How can we help you? And we can't do that very well unless we are regulated. So, one of my episodes, I talked about being able to regulate our systems before going on a trip. In that context, it was a girls' trip. Same things apply. How do you regulate your system? How do you lean on the people around you? How do you know what your triggers are? Triggers, triggers, triggers. How do you know what your triggers are so that you can be more equipped to either anticipate those triggers before they happen, or when they do happen, know what to do about it, right? So I get really, really hot traveling. I get really overheated. A huge trigger for me is feeling like sweaty. You already know I feel claustrophobic on planes. So, like feeling sweaty, feeling claustrophobic. So, I dress very accordingly. I have loose clothes. I have shirts I can take off. So, I have just tank tops on. I try, baggage, like not carrying a lot on my back because that makes me really hot. If I'm rushing through an airport and super overstimulated and overheated and claustrophobic, and then my kid is tantruming and I have to drag him, that's going to be a recipe for disaster. This last trip when we were in England, oh, our baggage situation, that's something we're working on this year is upgrading the bags. Our baggage situation was awful, and one of our like carry-ons didn't slide over the back, and so it kept slipping around. So we've got kid pulling us just his suitcase, toddler not wanting to wear a single freaking backpack, and my husband and I trying to carry all these bags, and everything's falling over, falling over. Boy, howdy. So it was a lot. And knowing and having the right systems in place to set you up for success, the stuff is still going to happen. The drama is still going to happen. The stress is still going to happen. But what can we do about it preemptively and in the moment to downregulate ourselves and downregulate our children? And that can start with practice at home. How do we know how to parent? How do we know how to downregulate at home so that we can be the mm, best version while traveling version of ourselves, so that everything can go smoothly? Will have joy and that we don't need a lot to find purpose and meaning in this life and with the experiences that we have. And so being able to go out and adventure even in your own backyard, going on a walk, going and, there's a big push for romanticizing your life. And I think it's so beautiful. I love it because being able to romanticize the everyday, this is what we have. This is the present moment. This is all that we have. And I can plan a million trips and I can be dreaming about what's coming down the pipeline and I can be hopeful for what I want things to look like. But this is what we have right now. We have the present moment. We have the backyard. We've got the strip of grass. We've got the park down the road. We've got these things right in front of us. And so helping our children appreciate those things, helping them show gratitude, for what we have, I think is really huge. So that when we do travel, they have an even better understanding and appreciation for the world, and they have a servant's heart, right? They have a heart that wants to see beauty and can see beauty around them instead of just taking it for granted. My son is particularly good at it. He's the firstborn, so he's just my gentle soul. He's so beautiful, he's so kind. And he will often like look at something and be like, "Mom, this is so beautiful." What? I mean, I know, but you're 5. And he's like, "This is just so beautiful. This makes me so happy." Because children are such a good reminder to just be present and be in the moment and appreciate what's right in front of you because that's what they do. They're super good at it. And so being able to do that at home, being able to do that in your environment allows them the ability to practice, especially if you're modeling it, allows them the ability to practice so that you can do it when you travel. And so that hopefully your anxiety is less because you have a better understanding and appreciation for what is around you and for the comfort in knowing that we are blessed to do all of this. So, this vlog is a little bit about just hanging out around our home in our city this week. So, we went camping, we went to the beach, and we played in our backyard because it was 80 and beautiful. So, that is us appreciating and finding the beauty in the everyday. I hope you do too.